Welcome everyone to Fulfill Your 2023 Dreams with Flow and Ease. As many of you know, I'm a writer, so I love any form of alliteration or rhythm in expressions. So I really liked the idea of fulfilling our dreams with flow and ease because it rhymed, but also because it would be wonderful, wouldn't it, if we could fulfill our dreams with flow and with ease and without rushing and striving and pushing and stressing and feeling pain and hurt along the way. And when I talk about dreams, you know, you will all be at different places in your lives. Many of the women I work with are interested in looking for or finding a healthy relationship. So it could be your love dreams, it could be your life dreams, it could be your health dreams. Wouldn't it be wonderful to fulfill them with flow and ease? And I say exactly the same for myself, because I have a history of pushing and striving and working too hard and not taking care of myself. And I've got a lot done in that way, but I don't want to be that person, that pushing, striving, rushing person. I really want to be more gentle, more intuitive, more self-compassionate. And obviously that has happened in the past years, but there is always more to learn. For those of you who are new to me, very briefly, I'm just going to share my, how do I do this? Share my screen. So this is very briefly just for those of you who might be new to me, watching live or on the recording. This is what we're looking at. I really love that image for 2023 because it suggests a degree of freedom and ease and peace. And that's, I think, how we want to fulfill our dreams. So as many of you know, I have fulfilled one of my dreams in terms of finding a healthy relationship. It wasn't my only dream, but it was a big piece of my puzzle in my late 30s, early 40s, when a lot of other parts of my life were working really well. But the romance part, I just kept hitting brick walls, and I couldn't find a healthy and loving relationship, or I couldn't stay in one. So that has been one of the dreams that I have fulfilled. And another one would be writing my book, my first book, because I am writing others. Living by the beach, which was a huge dream of mine. I spent 13 years in London, but I really needed a different perspective and more freedom. And another of my dreams is working with women. And this is one of my retreats in Turkey from a few years ago. Johanna, who's with us today, she came on a different retreat. I've still got the words in there, but anyway, that was from the retreat previously. And the work I do now, many of you know, I used to be a political journalist, a foreign correspondent. I used to work very hard in that job before I burnt out and broke down. And now I do very different work, supporting primarily women and some men to find a healthy, loving relationship and to live a more fulfilling life. So here's a couple of quotes from women I've worked with who wanted to be married, and they both got married last year. And Becky, who came on one of my previous retreats, she got married, and she started her journey with me younger than many people do, and she's now pregnant, which is wonderful. And another coaching client who is in a relationship and who did my course, several of my courses, which I can talk about later, and and is engaged and is planning her wedding. So just a few other comments from people. You know, I love to support people not only to find a different healthy relationship, but also to change their lives and perhaps transform their careers, transform their self-esteem and how they feel about themselves. So I just wanted to tell you those new to me a little bit about what I do and how I have fulfilled those dreams from, you know, finding love and changing my career, and also supporting women to do the same. So what I'd like to do now is think about this concept of flow and ease. And I'm going to invite you to join me in a very short meditation where we will connect with our breath, and we will then connect with this idea of flow and ease. And we will also think about the obstacles that stand in the way. So I'm going to invite you to connect with your breath and then to join me in a visualization. Some of you will get this and it will be easy and it will flow, and others will find it harder. And just notice what's happening to you when you're trying to connect with the breath and also the visualization. Notice if your brain, your mind is busy, if it is flitting around, and understand that that is one of your coping mechanisms, that the busy mind, that the constant thinking, the hypervigilance, they are all ways of, definitely for me, they're ways that my brain developed to keep me safe. So to keep me detached from my feelings, to help me to manage what was going on when in my childhood, which then became a coping mechanism for the rest of my life. So the busyness and the busy brain and the not sitting still and the not connecting to my feelings. So just notice that your mind, your brain is trying to keep you safe. And thank it for doing that job, and then invite it to let go in this moment. Tell yourself that you are safe in this place, in this moment, and see if you can bring your mind back to my voice, to the visualization. So I'm going to lead that, and then once we've finished, I'd like you just to write down anything that comes up for you on your pen and paper, on your notebook, and also if you'd like to in the chat. And the chat isn't recorded, so you don't need to worry about that. Okay, so when you find yourself in a comfortable spot, if you are in a comfortable spot, if it's safe to do so, please close your eyes. And become aware of your body, how you're sitting. Just notice your body against the chair, wherever you're sitting. Notice if you can feel anything in your body. And take your focus to your breath. So notice how your breath flows in and out, hopefully with ease. So your breath flows with ease. Notice how your chest rises and falls naturally with ease. You might want to place a hand on your tummy or on your chest. Just notice how it flows in and out. So this breath has always been with you. From that very first moment, it's always supported you. It's always guided you. It's always sustained you. And it's so natural. It flows. We don't think about it. Imagine that flow of breath, of air around your body. How easily it flows through you. Flowing like water, like the ebb and flow of the sea. So as we think about the flow, I'd like you to imagine a river. Perhaps it's a river that you know, or an image you create. So imagine this water flowing down the river. And this water, this is your life. This is your year. This water, this represents the days, the weeks, the months, and the future. Think of this flow like your year. So where is this river heading? Where would you like this river to go? This river is flowing towards your dreams, flowing downhill, gushing naturally towards your dreams. So what lies beyond this river? What lies at the end of the river? Where is this river flowing? What are the dreams that this river is flowing towards? See if you can identify the things that are the most important to you this year. Where would you like this river to flow? To health, to love, to friendship, to travel, creativity, career, freedom. Where would you like this river to flow? So imagine this river is flowing towards your dreams. And as it flows, there are obstacles in the form of rocks. So imagine that there are rocks in your river. And these are the things that might stand in the way of you accomplishing your dreams. These are the things that the river needs to flow over or flow around. So what are these obstacles? What do these rocks represent? Fear, money, any other challenges, relationship challenges, friendship challenges, health challenges? What do these rocks represent? And as you see these rocks, just notice how the water flows over them or around them. Maybe in parts of your river, the rocks are all piled up and it feels like a dam. So what does that dam represent for you? Are there any big blocks or big obstacles that feel insurmountable? And if there are, what do you need to remove those blocks, to remove those obstacles? Perhaps you can imagine a dam or a series of rocks blocking the way. What is it that you need to remove those obstacles? Maybe you need someone alongside you to help you take those blocks away, to move those rocks to one side. Maybe you need people, maybe you need support, maybe you need inner strength, stronger arms, stronger back. Maybe you need more courage, a community. So what would help you remove those rocks? So think about the overall picture now. We have a river flowing towards our dreams for this year. We have some rocks in the way, perhaps some obstacles. Maybe they just slow you down, slow the water down. Or maybe there's a dam, maybe there's a big block. And then what do you need to remove those blocks? What kind of support, what kind of help do you need to take that dam to pieces and let the water flow towards your dreams? What would make it easier for you to fulfill the desires of your heart? So with those questions in mind, the dreams that the river is flowing to, the obstacles that stand in the way, and the things you need to move through those obstacles, I'd like you to take your focus back to your breath. Notice how it flows with ease. See how it flows like that river, or like the sea, ebbing and flowing. And take a few deep breaths. So when you're ready, I'd like you to open your eyes. And first of all, take a few minutes to jot things down in your notebook if anything came to you. Now, if it didn't, don't worry, just stay with this process, stay with this workshop, because you will be inspired by what others share. But if things came to you, dreams, obstacles, rocks, and how you might remove them, then write that down. So I'll just give you a few minutes to do that. And if you've finished writing or would like to write in the chat as well, it would be wonderful to hear what came up for you. Remember, sharing in the chat, it really, it's really helpful for others to hear perhaps what you are struggling with, because it makes us feel less alone. To hear your dreams, it inspires us, and to hear how you can remove those blocks, that's also inspiring. Thanks for sharing in the chat. I particularly like to hear, I'd love to hear your dreams because I find that so wonderful and inspiring. I'd also love to hear your obstacles, so I can then help you to, or we can all brainstorm how to get through those. And just while you're doing that, I just want to share a couple of mine, because I think it's really important to, oh, somebody's joining late. I think it's really important to prioritize. Obviously, it's important to prioritize, and it's important to understand that we have, a limited amount of energy to give to our lives, and that energy, we often split it in so many ways, and so we run out of energy because we have all these different priorities and we don't have enough energy for all of them. I definitely don't have enough energy for everything that I want to do. So prioritizing. So for me, this year, top of my priorities is my health, my body, getting strong, getting fit, being pain-free, absolute priorities, because I understand more clearly than ever before, perhaps with the aging process, that if I'm not healthy in my body, then there is nothing else. There is no relationship, there is no travel, there is no business, there is no joy if I'm in pain. And it affects my mental health. So sometimes it's helpful to identify, what lies at the top of the tree and what affects everything else. So that's one of the things for me. What are the obstacles there? Time, money, because I really want to join a really lovely gym and it's quite expensive. Time is probably the biggest obstacle. And what support do I need? Or what do I need to remove those obstacles? I need, I need commitment. I need to be really clear on um, what's important and what deserves committing to. And I need good time management systems and also support with those from others. So I need people around me who are on my side and who are cheering me on to meet those goals. Um, and another of mine is to invest in my relationship, in my marriage, and to make time for that. You know, so many of us spend many years trying to find a healthy relationship, and then we might find one and then not give it enough time, not give it the time that it's due. One of the obstacles there is the dog. She takes up a lot of time. It's like bringing a baby into a relationship. So we need support with that. And another dream of mine would be to finish my novel. And I can see lots of obstacles there. Time, again, being a big one, and commitment. So what do I need? Well, when I wrote my first book, I paid someone to provide me with accountability and support, to give me deadlines and to edit my book. And I had buddies around me who helped me to stay accountable. So that's how I got through my obstacle of, you know, lack of time, wavering commitment, with support, investment, and yeah, people cheering me on. So there's some of my dreams. I've got a few others, but let me just see what's been shared and see if I can support you. An image of me in a canoe, moving swiftly and able to navigate around the obstacles. So that's a lovely image. And I would just ask, what is it that that might give you that sense of momentum? So if you can take that image, and what would give me that sense of momentum? What am I lacking to be able to have that sense of momentum? So moving swiftly and able to navigate around the obstacles. Do you need more courage? Do you need more support? Do you need a plan? Do you need a map? A clearer idea of where you're going? Do you need more people on board, more people on side? That's what I would ask in that. Friendship jumped out. I've lacked true girl friendship for so long and don't know how to make those connections. So yeah, I really hear that. And I've really had to commit as well this recently to finding or reconnecting with old friends and finding new ones. And today, I'm pleased to say I went on a sort of meetup type hike with lots of, there were lots of women on it of a similar age to me. And so that was a good way to start the year, connecting with other women. So I don't know if there's something that you can do to, yeah, you know, to join. I know this is an obvious suggestion, but to join a group, to join a meetup group, to find something that you love and go and do it. And the question that comes up for me there is, what stops me? What's my resistance? What's my reluctance? Normally it's a voice in my head that says, oh no, it won't be any good, or you won't meet anyone, or yeah, why don't you just stay home and do your work or tidy the house? And normally that voice, beneath that voice, is fear. Fear of intimacy, actually, in friendships as well as in romantic relationships. So if I fear intimacy in romantic relationship, I actually also fear it in friendship. Now, I love friends and I love people, but part of my history is a fear of intimacy and a fear of closeness. So I have to understand that in order to overcome that. So I'm not sure if that's relevant, but often it's important to understand whether we're coming up with reasons why not to do something, and what is beneath that reason. Is it a deeper fear? Okay, I always thought nothing is gained unless you put in an awful lot of work. Um, yeah, I think there's a difference between putting in, I think we have to commit and do the footwork, but is there a way to do it with flow and ease? Is there a way to do it in a way that's not panicked or stressed or painful? And I think the flow and ease comes from a place of trusting our intuition, trusting our instinct, and letting go of lots of superfluous stuff, which takes up a lot of our time. I don't know if you can all think of at least one or two things that, and it could be involved, it could be something about people pleasing or meeting other people's needs before your own, but there could be a couple of things that you could all think of that you might be able to let go of, or you might need to clear the decks a little bit in order to prioritize the things that are really important. So when I wrote my book, How to Fall in Love, I remember this very clearly. It was January 2017, and I was very angry about the fact that I hadn't managed to write a book, despite having been a professional writer as a journalist for 20 years, and everyone else seemed to be publishing books. And I saw very clearly that I wanted to do that. And I was very committed, and I cleared the decks. I just cleared the decks of stuff. I cut down on, I suppose I cut down on people pleasing, and I really stuck to my guns, and I wrote it, and I wrote it very quickly. So sometimes I think it's about prioritizing, and understanding why we're doing all these other things, why we're working so hard. You know, over delivering at work takes a lot of time. I know that. It takes a lot of energy, and that energy and time is important, because some of these other things, like joining meetup groups or dating or going out with friends, that takes energy, and we can so easily talk ourselves out of that if we don't have the energy. So ask yourself where your energy is going. Where is your energy going? And I'll come back to that in a moment. Prioritizing exercise and eating well, potential obstacles and making time for it, waking up early enough when I'm tired and cold, planning food in advance, choosing meals, doing food shop. Yeah, I can relate to all of that. And applying for a job. So I suppose that brings me back to the questions I just asked around energy and time. Where is our energy going? Where is our time going? Perhaps being mindful, trying to be more mindful of where your time is going. I'm really terrible at tracking my time, but I know some people are much better at it than me. So if that works for you, try and keep a mindful track of your time. Yeah. And maybe you need some buddies. So those of you who've done my my group courses, that when we've done them in the larger groups, we've had buddies, and we've worked closely with, we've had someone to support us. So maybe you need to make a commitment to someone. In fact, you can make a commitment with me, because I need to plan food in advance and cook my meals in advance. But sometimes we need a buddy, because it's very hard to do some of these things on our own. I did a personal training session a few days ago in the gym as a trial, and I was just like, within the first 10 minutes, this is so brilliant. This is so much better than trying to find my way around a weights room. I have no clue how to lift weights. So having a training session was just brilliant. And it could be doing something else. It doesn't, just having someone by your side to cheer you on and support you and help you to move forwards is so important. So there's an image of a fast-flowing river, lots of energy and urgency, heading towards calmer, deeper waters as I head to an estuary ocean. That sounds lovely. The calmer, deeper waters. That sounds really lovely. Having more time under your own control. So this is about, I'll come back to the time and the energy question, because I think it's important. We'll think about that in a moment, how to hold on to the energy that's important to us. Back into paid work after a break, health issues, and lack of confidence and self-sabotage. So what comes up for me there is about changing the things that we can. That the serenity prayer comes up for me there. The courage to change the things I can, accept the things I cannot change, and change the courage to change the things I can. So sometimes we can't change health issues. Maybe we can, but some of them maybe we can't. But the lack of confidence and self-sabotage, that strikes me as something that we can change with support, with help from others. So what do you need in place in order to change, in order to boost the confidence and address the self-sabotage? And self-sabotage is so common, and I'm sure everyone can relate to that. I definitely can. My dream would be to have a partner, companion, space to be creative, available, and time for rest and getting fit. Obstacles, money, fear, putting energy into a relationship that doesn't work, causes immense emotional strain and pain. Yeah, so the obstacles of fear and money are obviously very common. I think it's about support, and I mean, obviously there are real challenges such as money that often, you know, they're there, we can't escape them. Fear is something that we can get support with. We can give ourselves, I mean, there are two ways of support. You know, there's the inner resources that we can give to ourselves, and then there's the outer support. So how are we supporting ourselves from the inside out? And that would be starting with, you know, starting your day with meditation, with journaling, which many of you might already do. And I do, and then stop doing, and then do again, and then stop doing. So starting our day, think about starting your day with a really solid, grounded base. I also heard that song on the radio the other day, which I actually mentioned in my book. I am what I am, or I am who I am? The Gloria Gaynor song. I am who I am. Anyway, it's a really uplifting, powerful song. And I thought maybe I need to play that every morning really loudly after my meditation. Because, you know, so that's what we can do for ourselves, the inner strength, the inner resources, building ourselves up from the inside. And then what about the outside? How can we bring in more support? So yeah, health, taking the leap and letting my dreams become a reality. So there's a mindset obstacle, losing patience with yourself, having high expectations. So we want to be kinder and more compassionate, and accept that we won't be able to meet all the goals all the time. Yeah. So I heard somebody say not so long ago that, you know, I can't possibly complete all the creative ideas that I have. And that applies to me. Like, I have an idea for, you know, a new book or a workshop or a retreat, and I can't do them all, but I want to do them all. And I might try and do them all, and then actually none of them get done. So prioritizing and understanding, and also understanding who we are and where we are in life. You know, I like to think that I am still 31, and I wish I could live my life like I was 31. And I like to have a list of goals that I think I could have got done at 31, and I'm 51. And that brings some, you know, some acceptance and joy, and also some sadness, because I can't do what I can't do what I used to do at 31. I can't do all that. So having self-compassion and acceptance. So I'm not sure I'm going to get through all these, but I'll keep going if this is helpful. Find a place outside of London to live. Overthinking and worry about making the wrong decision. So with overthinking and worry and anxiety, and this might not be relevant to the person who commented this, but this is what has come up, is coming up for me. And I just want to invite you all to think about this, because we all have coping mechanisms. We all have survival techniques that we developed at a certain point in our lives to help us to get through whatever we had to get through, perhaps in childhood. So in childhood, for example, I developed perfectionism, because I thought if I was perfect, my chances of being loved would be greater, and therefore my chances of surviving would be greater. And, you know, the human infant, the human child instinctively knows that without good care, good support, and love, they will die. So many of us who didn't have the good support and the good care and the love that we needed and the attention that we needed, we thought, what do I need to do around here to survive? What coping mechanism do I need? And for me, perfectionism, like control, and that's the overthinking. So if I can work it all out, maybe I'll be in control, and then maybe I'll survive. But that is absolutely exhausting, like trying to figure it all out, work it all out, and make the perfect decision. For me, these are my coping mechanisms that I developed in childhood. And the only way for me to move through, you know, the overthinking and the worry about the wrong decision is to connect with the part of me that developed those coping mechanisms. So to try, and I don't find this easy, but to try and connect with the frightened child within, who desperately wants to make the right decision, make the right choice, not get it wrong. And to really understand that the problem, the fear about getting it wrong and making the wrong choice comes from my childhood, when the consequences for me as a child felt life-threatening. So that's why it's so important to make the right decision, not to get it wrong. So, you know, and this is work that I do with my clients and on my courses and retreats, like connecting with the child within, understanding the various coping mechanisms that she developed: people pleasing, control, obsessive thinking, overthinking, codependency, low self-esteem, like, you know, allowing ourselves to be walked over by other people, laying ourselves down, all the coping mechanisms that we developed, overworking, being busy, not feeling. These are all coping mechanisms that many of us will have developed when we were young. So think about, those of you who relate to what I'm saying, think about connecting with the part of you that is frightened. Who is she? How old is she? Why is she so frightened? What does she remember from the past? Why did she have to be perfect? Why did she have to get it right? And can you reassure her and talk to her and hold her hand? So we want to hold our own hand, and then we need other people holding our hand. You know, all the things that I have changed in the past, I suppose, 20 years, from being a compulsive overeater, binge eater, starver, compulsive over-exercise person, being overweight, being a complete workaholic that ended up in burnout and breakdown and dysfunctional, unhealthy relationships with unavailable people, wanting to move out of London, all those things that I have changed. I have always done so with support, with coach, with therapist, with groups, with people, with other women. So we want to hold our own hand, and ideally we want a sort of deeper, more spiritual connection as well. So for some of you, that would be the universe or God or faith or spirituality or groundedness or Buddha or whatever it is. So we want to hold our own hand, we want to be held spiritually, and then we want someone else or other people to hold our hand. So women, groups, coach, you know, whoever you can find to hold your hand. So I'm going to carry on through the chat. Flowing, I've got an image of flowing towards love and a deep connection with a partner, and obstacles around fears. Obstacles were fears around money, not feeling there's enough or enough to feel safe. So I can really relate to that. And that for me, you know, that for me is a childhood fear, and it didn't matter when I was working in my Reuters job, earning a good amount of money with a secure pension. It didn't matter that none of it mattered. With a flat in London, none of it mattered. I still didn't feel safe. No matter how much I had, I didn't feel safe around money. I've got a lot less now in terms of, you know, what I earn, but you know, it doesn't matter what the number is. It doesn't matter. I've never felt safe around money, and that's because I didn't as a child, and it was a trauma wound. And so the only way I can move through those fears is by understanding that it's a trauma wound, and doing that healing around that, and connecting to my child and the inner child, and reassuring her and getting some support around that. Yeah. And also, you know, this is kind of obvious, but I often ask myself, you know, all those, you know, that Mark Twain quote about all the things that he worried about, and hardly any of them, some of them, one or two of them came true. You know, if I think about all the times I've worried about money, yeah, and I've always managed to eat and live. And there were times when when I was traveling as a lot younger, when I actually totally ran out of money, but somebody always came out of the woodwork and offered me somewhere to stay or a meal or something. So my dream is marriage. The rock takes up about a quarter to a third of the river. Would take a JCB to move. Okay, there's a belief that there won't be a man for me. So if the rock is taking up such a large amount of the river, and you need a JCB, what would look like a JCB? I mean, if we got everyone together on this call and went out to that rock, I think we could move it together. So how could you create that sense of strength, support, power in order to move that rock? And that core belief, you know, when we think about our core beliefs, how far do they go back? You know, are they from recent history, from experience, or is there a much deeper belief from our past? And is that belief a defense, a protection mechanism? You know, if I believe that there isn't someone for me, then that means that I don't really need to try. It means that I don't have to go through the slightly frightening, unnerving process of dating or deepening a relationship with someone. So there's a dream of deepening my relationship with myself, surrounding myself with people who love me, letting go of the pressure to find a partner, enjoying the present and not getting lost in future plans or grandiose expectations. I think letting go of pressure is something, you know, whatever our dreams, it's something is really important. Okay, so beautiful river leading to the brightest and widest sea, but going around in the whirlpool around two rocks. Courage versus what's the point? It's too hard. Okay. So I put that in my email today, that sense of what's the point? It's too hard. I won't be able to do it. And again, I mean, what is that? A recent voice, a recent history voice? Is that sense of it's too hard, it's too much? Does that come from our younger years? And I hear there's courage. So how can we strengthen, how can we build up that courage? What do we need to move that courage? So the energy, yeah, and I'm going to come back to energy in a minute. Energy is going into the work job that I don't want to do, can't afford to quit, and that's really tricky. And I suppose thinking about, are there other ways? Is there a, so we've got an A and a B: stay in the job I don't like, quit the job, can't afford to do that. Is there a third way? Is there a third way? And there might not be, but it's about being creative. If I can't do A or B, is there a third way? Fulfilling relationship, fun, laughter, adventure, self-confidence, new job. So obstacles, I think, are lack of relationship experience, lack of knowing the new direction in the career, lack of confidence, hormones. And I think, yeah, some time off work, getting a mentor, going through my course material, 3-week trip in Feb, and HRT. So actions there to, yeah, to move through the obstacles. And when I read that list, I hear momentum and energy, and you know, momentum and energy, I think they're so important. And I wrote in the email I sent that it's so, you know, my energy totally ebbs and flows, and my mood totally ebbs and flows, and I'm sure you can relate to that. So we had some difficult days in between, you know, in the last few weeks, some difficult days and challenges. And then yesterday, this day when I felt, you know, I went for a swim in the sea, and then went for a big walk with friends, and then big lunch, and I felt really energized and positive, and anything feels possible. And then you have a bad night's sleep, and then it all feels hard again, and it feels impossible. And so the energy ebbs and flows, but we want to try and hold on to it. And I just want to invite you to just close your eyes for a moment and just picture a ball of energy. Now, this is your energy. This is your energy. And you have this amount of energy for your day, for your week, for your year. Now, I want you to think about where the energy seeps out. Where does it leak? Where does it slip away? Now, for me, overthinking, indecision, procrastination, absolutely, you know, that's a major energy drain. Social media, which is important for my work, but is a real drain. Where does your energy slip away? Maybe friendships that don't serve you anymore. Maybe, you know, dating people who aren't good for you. Just imagine how much energy that takes. If you start a relationship, continue a relationship, and end a relationship, and recover from the relationship. And I know it's not always obvious whether it's going to be right or wrong for us, but when we ignore the red flags and go into a relationship, how much energy does that take? So think about where your energy seeps out. And I'd like you to see if you can close, just in your mind, if you can close some of the biggest leaks. So imagine that you are plugging the holes. It could be a relationship that is really draining, maybe a friendship that's draining. It could be scrolling through your phone. It could be Netflix. It could be, what holes do you need to plug in your energy? And if you plug those holes, just imagine that this energy ball is much greater and stronger. And where would you like to put that? Where would you like to put that energy? And see if you can sort of anchor yourself to that image, to that idea of plugging those energy holes and then harnessing all that energy that remains and putting it, directing it where you want it to go. So I invite you to open your eyes, and if you'd like to share anything that came up, please do in the chat. For me, when I close my eyes and think about that ball of energy, I think about health and fitness and getting strong, and how that gives me energy. Actually, when I exercise, it gives me energy. And I can see it in my face. My cheeks glow and my eyes brighten. And so it's the opposite of like sitting at the computer with my back hurting and my neck hurting, which happens. And, it's the complete opposite. I've just done 2 weeks trial at a swanky gym with sauna, steam room, and outdoor heated pool. And it was, I can see the difference in my face and in my eyes, and I have loads more energy. And I really want to hold on to that, but how do I hold on to that once kind of work starts and all that stuff? And I really, that energy, I want to put that into my relationship. I want to put it into travel. I want to put it into my work and into my novel. So I want to harness that. And I think we have to be really disciplined and, I don't know, I'm going to say ruthless. I know ruthless in a nice way. I know when I wrote my novel, I was ruthless with my time, where I put my energy. So if anyone wants to share what came up for you, and there's just one thing in the chat I'll just mention. Want to start own business. It's hard without money and when dealing with pain in the body and brain fog. Move a new partner. So what can, I understand pain in the body and I understand brain fog, and what can we do? What steps can we take? How can we, because it's very hard to be focused on the things that we want to do with both those things going on. I know that. So what support do you need for your body, for your brain, and for those dreams? Now, I'd like you to just think about where your energy went in that little meditation that we did. So where did it go? And once you've identified where that energy went and where your river is flowing, I'd like you to think of 3 simple things that you can do in the next week or 2 to move you forwards towards 1, 2 of these dreams. Now that might be plugging one of the energy leaks. It might be letting something go. It might be taking some steps, adding something in, doing something, going dating, joining one of my courses or groups or coaching. It might be getting some other support. It might be finding a buddy. And I'd love some of you to pop your ideas in the chat if you'd like to. So what 3 things can you do in the next weeks to to move towards where your energy was or where the river was flowing? So I'm just trying to think on the spot about mine. I need to make a decision on a gym. So I need to make a decision and not overthink and not procrastinate and not worry too much. I need to make a decision and I need to have a plan. So, or I need to find the right combination of Pilates or yoga or gym. I need to make a decision on that. So that's one thing I need to do in the next week or 2. I need to book some things in the diary, holiday, time with my husband, time with friends. And I need to enter my novel into a novel competition in 13 days' time. So that requires quite a lot of work. So I need to commit my mornings to writing. Say yes to me and no to others. Set alarm for 6. Go to bed at 10. Batch cook. I'm with you on that. I need to do all those things too. Absolutely need to do those things. Yeah. And I just want to feel free to keep on sharing in the chat if you've thought of 3 things that you can do. I just want to go back to this idea of flow and ease, and then I'm just going to share a few things that I've got coming up, and then we'll do Q&A, and I'll switch the recording off. If anyone has any questions in the meantime, please pop them in the chat. So join a gym, got flu on holiday, so need to recover. Yeah. Mentor, update CV, book holiday. Yeah. So setting boundaries. So setting boundaries is so difficult, especially with work. So energy leaks. And I would come back to what I was saying earlier about the child. For me, the part of me that struggles to say no to others, that struggles to set boundaries, is the part of me that, the child part of me that wants everyone to love me, everyone to like me, so that I will feel safe. The part of me that doesn't want to let people down or anger others. The part of me that feels that I'm not valuable enough with as a person, so I need to over deliver, or I don't trust that my work is valuable enough, so I need to over deliver. That's where I struggle with my boundaries. So I'm always giving more because I don't believe in myself enough. So the difficulty with boundaries often comes from a very deep place. It comes from a deep place, and then there's we have to do the inner work, and then we have the practical solution. Okay, do I need help for setting boundaries? Do I need accountability? Yeah. Save energy for creative projects. Yeah, I'm relating to so many of these things. Declutter, organizing, think about where your time and energy is going. Yeah. Asking colleagues out for lunch to see if you can support each other. I think, yeah, that sounds such a wonderful thing. And I hear the fear. And I I suppose it's about working out if, you know, the potential gain, is that worth going through the fear? So often, in order to get to the gain, we have to go through the fear. And it's about thinking whether that gain is worth going through the fear for. To me, that sounds like a wonderful thing to do. Prioritize one writing project. Yeah, so use the question each week, what 3 simple things could I do to move me towards my dreams? And many of you who've been on a course or a retreat with me, you will have done like a vision board or a vision booklet. If you've done my course, the dating course, there's a vision board as part of that. So you can either just take a massive piece of paper and write down all your dreams and visions, or you can glue things onto a piece of paper. If you've already done one, where is it? Is it hiding somewhere? Get it out, put it on your wall, add to it, take things away, whatever you want. But and then get some support with it. Get some support with it. And you know, my vision board actually needs to be got out and redone. Actually, it needs to be redone. Maybe we'll have a session. Maybe I'll do a session of vision boarding. So yeah, think about those 3 things, and maybe that question, you could ask it every day. There might be 3 little things that you can do every day to move towards your dreams. So for me, if my dream is a strong, pain-free body, you know, 10 minutes of Pilates would help. 10 minutes of weights would help. If my dream is my novel, half an hour of novel writing would help. These are things I can do every single day. So every day I can do 3 things. Every week I can do 3 things. Every month. And think about where that energy is leaking out. So if you have any questions that you'd like to, what's going to happen now is I'm just going to share my screen briefly. If you have any questions about anything we've discussed, pop them in the chat. Then I'm going to switch the recording off and we can have another little chat, and you're welcome to ask any questions. So I just want to share, just want to let you know a few things that I've got coming up. Let me just go back. So I was talking about some of my clients and how I've supported them in many cases to find love, get engaged, get married, or move in with a partner, find a healthy relationship, date differently, and change their lives, find a new career, change where they live, and so forth. So I believe that accountability, support, and sisterhood, or support from men as well, or support from people, is really important. And that's, you know, that's why I really love working with my clients. So if you would like to explore, that's where I was supposed to get to at the start. If you would like to support fulfilling your dreams in 2023 with me, I have a few things. I'm launching a monthly membership community for emotionally intelligent women looking for a healthy and loving relationship. So this is going to be similar. Some of you have done some of my group calls, my group courses, Laying the Foundations, Date with Courage, Clarity and Confidence, and How to Find an Emotionally Available Partner. I have long felt that I would like to continue to support you somehow. If you've done a course, if you've done a retreat, if you'd like to do another course. So I would like to do regular support sessions like this, where I support you with your dilemmas and your questions. So there's going to be a membership community with regular group calls, and a monthly membership fee, which is affordable. So I'll send you details of that in due course. So keep an eye on your email, or ask me a question, send me an email and ask me about that. I'm also doing another couple of workshops, which I'll tell you about in a moment. But if you'd like to be part of a bit like this. So, regularly on Zoom, we get together and you bring your questions and we kind of hot seat. So what I realized about myself and how I work is where I excel, and I say so modestly, but where I excel is sort of live workshopping people's problems and dilemmas and relationship challenges and dating issues. And I'd like to bring that to more people. So as part of this membership community on the calls, you would bring your issue, your problem, and I would manage, in an hour, I could hot seat 4 or 5 people and help you to move through, and everyone would learn from that challenge. So that's something I'm starting very soon. I also have my one-to-one coaching sessions, which is where I tailor my support to your needs. And I would love you to pop in the chat, actually. I am doing very soon a Date with Confidence and Find Love in 2023 workshop. I am also doing a Relight Your Fire, Find Your Passion and Purpose for women who are feeling soul dead in their careers and want to find a new, exciting path, more aligned with their authentic self. So I'm doing that workshop, and I'm doing a Break Free from Emotional Overeating and Lose Weight for Life workshop. So in the chat, I'd love you to put A, B, or C if you are interested in any of those, or all of them, or just A and B, or just A and C, or and I'm also hosting some more retreats in Dorset around love. So my love retreat and Change Your Career retreat, Relight Your Fire, Find Your Passion and Purpose retreat. So if you would like to work with me, if you'd like my support, if you'd like more details of the membership community, I will send that out once I have everything ready. But if you'd like to know more, just drop me an email and you can book a free discovery call with me on my website. So that's the end of that. Stop share. Okay, so thank you. I can save the chat and for me, and I can have a look at that. So keep popping those in if you'd like to. So what I'm going to do now is, I don't think there are any questions above. Yeah, so I am going to switch the recording off. I'm going to say thank you to everyone who is watching this on recording, and please get in touch if you'd like any support, and I'm going to switch the recording.